Move anything that's on your mat unless you want a pen and paper to check out the board.
You want to introduce the board first?
Should I have written? Ooh. Yeah.
I see something. I know
All right, so today you have me breaking down the Dancing Warrior sequence. Dancing Warrior will go through all of the warriors, a few lunges and twists, and I'll break down the alignment in each of them, going into some more partner activities like we were doing yesterday. But first, before we do that, we need to warm up our bodies. So we'll just, again, remove everything from your mat, coming into a little bit of a vinyasa warm up, going through sun salutations. Maybe I'll also have you start sitting down, going through our warm up. Finding your comfortable seat, I'm going to choose to sit on my knees right now. And we'll just start connecting our breath with our movement, inhaling up. And exhaling back down. Inhaling, coming up. And exhaling, coming back down. One more time, inhale, reach up. We'll keep our arms up here. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. Expand your rib cage, reach your fingertips to the ceiling. And then on our next exhale, we'll bring our left hand forward, right hand back, coming into a little easy twist. And then inhaling, arms come up. And exhaling to the other side. Inhaling, arms coming up. And then maybe we'll bring an arm straight in front of you, shoulder height. We'll interlace our fingers right in front of our face. Flip the palms out. And on our inhale, we'll reach our palms towards the ceiling. And then following our gaze with our knuckles. So exhale, palms come down through heart center, following your hands with your gaze. So you get that stretch in the neck, pushing your knuckles out, exhaling all the air out of your mouth completely, and inhaling back up. Following your knuckles with your eyes, reaching your head and gaze toward the ceiling, and exhaling, coming back down through your heart center, interlacing one more time. Breathing up. And then exhaling down through center. Pausing here for a moment, maybe placing your hands on your lap. Rotating your head to the right. And then rotating your head to the left. Maybe bringing your chin down toward your chest, interlacing your palms behind your head, feeling that stretch through the cervical spine, the back of your neck. Releasing here. And then coming into a standing position. We'll start warming up the lower body. Maybe shaking out the legs. From here, you can either keep your feet together, have them hips distance apart. We'll just do a few little hip circles here. Maybe slowly and mindfully notice any of those nooks and crannies, those cobwebs that are still in your body from sleeping the night. And then rotating the other way if you haven't already. If you find a sweet spot, you're more than welcome to iron that out. And then gently bringing your feet together. We'll just kind of rotate our knees. Toying with it, bent knees, maybe straightening them out for a moment. Switching the direction if you haven't already. And then standing back up into your mountain pose, your Tadasana. We'll put one ankle forward, balancing, and rotate one way, rotate it the other way. And then switching feet. Coming back into your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Maybe closing your eyes and just start tuning into your body, feeling your feet against the floor. Are all four corners of your feet on the floor? No, we've gone over that already. And feeling the energy rising up through your ankles. Are your knees hyperextended? And if they are, add a slight bend to it. Feeling your pelvis. Are you in your anterior or posterior tilt? Try to bring it back neutral. Most of us drawing the tailbone down towards the floor. Expanding out through the chest. Shoulders are soft. Arms are down by your side. Maybe your palms are facing forward. Back of your neck is long. Chin is parallel to the floor as the crown of your head reaches up towards the ceiling. Noticing any sensations arising in your body. Making a mental note of how you feel. Maybe coming back to the intention we set during pranayama. And then if you're not already, we're going to step up to the front of our mats and go through 2 rounds of Surya Namaskar. Just warming up the body. So we'll inhale, arms come out, reaching up, Mudita Hastasana. Exhaling slowly down, Uttanasana. We'll inhale, step one foot back, step the other foot back, plank pose, Kumbhakasana, and then drop our knees, chest, chin, shoulders, elbows by side, and then inhaling up into upward facing dog, rolling, tucking your toes, and going into downward facing dog. We'll just hang out in our downward dog just for a moment here since it's our first down dog of the day. Assumed. Speak louder? Yeah, okay. Having a couple breaths here. Making sure your fingers are spread wide. All 10 knuckles of your palm are firmly on the ground. Your triceps are engaged. Your navel's in. Maybe your gaze is through your feet. And we'll step our right foot up on the inhale. And step our left foot up. Coming into Uttanasana. And then inhaling, rising up. Hands come up, Utthita Hastasana. And exhaling down by your sides. Okay. Inhaling, we'll do the other side. Arms up. Exhaling, palms come down to your feet. Step the left foot back. Step the right foot back. Kumbhakasana. And then we'll bring our knees down, knees, chest, chin. Elbows by side. Inhale, roll your shoulders back, coming into upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Another couple of breaths here. Triceps engaged. Serratus anterior engaged. Latissimus dorsi engaged. Navel drawing in. Legs are straight. Quadriceps engaged. And then we'll step our left foot up on your inhale. Your right foot up. Uttanasana. Inhaling. Utthita Hastasana. Exhaling down by your side. And that's one round. I'll do it one more time. Yeah? Okay. Inhaling, arms coming up. Exhaling down towards the ground. And then step your right foot back. Step your left foot back. Plank pose. Knees down, knees, chest, chin. Inhaling, upward facing dog, rolling your shoulders back, knees off the ground, and exhale, downward facing dog. Just a couple breaths here. And we'll step our right foot up and our left foot up. Uttanasana. And then inhale, rooting to rise. Reaching up. Exhaling, coming down. Let's see if you guys can do the next round without any cues on your own. I'll be doing it up here. You guys can follow me. Exhaling down. We'll step the other. Yep. Then once you get to Tadasana, have a moment, close your eyes. Feel your toes spreading. Your pelvis in neutral, your core slightly engaged. And just noticing what this sun salutation has done within your body. Any changes, any subtle differences. Gently opening your eyes. They aren't already. All right, the first movements we're going to go into are from a basic balancing pose into Virabhadrasana 3, which is Warrior 3. So from here, we're going to stand in our Tadasana, making sure we have the right feet position. Our feet are facing forward. Remember the line in between your second and third toe. Your knees are slightly bent, not hyperextending. They are, but not too bent, right? Bent, slight bent. We're going to make sure we have our hands on our hips. And from here, we'll just slightly bring up the left leg. Making sure our thigh is parallel to the ground. All four corners of the feet are on the ground. Your spine is straight, shoulders are rolling down your back. The back of your neck is long. Toes are facing forward. And then release. We'll do that on the other side. Inhaling, your leg comes up, about parallel to the ground. Make sure your hips aren't kind of dashing out. Keep that, your right hip tucked in. And exhale, release it down. All right, we're gonna add a movement here, add a transition. So from our standing balance, on our exhale, you can either we'll start with keeping our hands at our waist, and I'll just demonstrate first. Take a deep inhale here, rolling the shoulders back and down, spine is straight and elongated. Exhaling, tipping our chest and forward. Head comes forward, coming into a Warrior 3. Now in our Warrior 3, we want to make sure we're in a straight line from our head to our toes. Our toes, we're going to start, you can have it pointed down, just making sure you get the, making sure your feet and legs are fully parallel to the ground. Our thighs are engaged, our ankle is strong. You want to make sure you draw attention to your right big toe, and that'll help keep all four corners of your feet on the ground. But before we do that, well, you actually go ahead and try it on your own. So it's coming into a standing balance. And then exhale, we'll keep our hands on our hips, tip forward. We want to make sure our hips are square to the ground. Our tailbone is rolling down towards our legs. Yep. Our core is slightly engaged. And then exhale, release. All right, we'll try that on the other side. Just to even it out, and then we'll go into a bit of partner work. So inhale, the other leg up. I don't think I told you which one on the other side. And then on our exhale, dip our chest forward, leg comes back. You want to make sure you're not collapsing in your shoulders, so roll them back and down, keeping that straight line. Yeah. And then exhale, slowly coming up. All right, I'm gonna have you guys break out in pairs. Maybe, Pee-wee, can you come up and help me? We're gonna break out in pairs, and to really find the alignment here, yeah, that's right there's fine. To really find the alignment here, we're gonna take away the balancing aspect of it. So Pee-wee, if you can just bring up your left foot, dip your torso forward, and you're gonna have your partner's gonna help create a wall with your back foot. So she's gonna push really hard into my foot, and this will help engage the thigh, engage the calf, and then her toes are pointing down. You can keep them pointed down, or you can floint them, or completely point them. But you want to make sure you start with the toes pointed down so you can get the correct positioning, the internal rotation of the foot, right? And then, so your partner's going to act as your wall, so you don't have to worry about balancing there. And it should help you figure out your alignment. And then with your torso, you want to keep your shoulders back and down. Remember, we're never bringing the latissimus dorsi up to our ears. And for now, we'll keep our hands on our hips. There's a couple other options that I'll tell you after you try it out. If you tend to hyperextend, definitely. It's a yeah, and it'll help you balance. It's something I've really tried to put into my practice. Locking the knee is never a good thing. So keep it slight, but if this isn't a slight bend. Your slight bend is something you can hardly see, so you'll feel your quadriceps engaged. Yeah. And it'll be rolling out externally.
Remember what we said yesterday about when you lock your knee, it rotates a little, and that's going to misalign you. So bending the knee is actually better than locking it.
Yes.
And tell them to hold the hips.
Right. And your hips, I think I mentioned it while my head was facing down, but your hips are going to be square. So these are square hips. We'll get into other poses where these are open hips, square hips. So hips are facing down, pelvis towards the ground. And you want to make sure you keep your core engaged, tailbone rolling down towards the ground. Okay. Yep. Partner time. Yeah. Find your drishti at something slightly in front of your eyes. Yeah. On the floor.
Tell them if they're having trouble balancing, they can grab the railing.
Right.
Some people might have trouble balancing.
And if you're still having trouble balancing with the partner work, you can go over to the railing and use it for your hands. I wasn't sure if I should use the railing. Yeah. Yeah. Because I didn't.
You're talking to them.
Okay.
Because there are a lot.
Yes.
And you've got the waterfall and
Right.
you've got the river.
Thank you. Huh? How long you stay? Just kind of as long as until you get the alignment. Yeah.
It's better
Yes.
balance in this or this? Pointing it, or just flexing it?
I really, it really doesn't matter. I enjoy keeping my toes pointed to the ground because it helps me keep my leg aligned.
So here.
So,
I don't mind. I don't
yeah,
find a difference.
yeah.
Okay.
So, but some people will feel like their leg, I should have said this, your standing leg, the more power you put into your raised leg, the more stable and balanced you will feel. You want energy in all parts of your body. So some people will find that that flointing helps. Some people will find flexing, wherever you can put more energy. And make sure to practice on both your legs. Thank you. Make sure to practice on both your legs.
See how much better it is? Learn to use it.
Yes. It's been easier in the pranayama and meditations because I'm not moving and I keep forgetting when I'm
Yeah.
moving.
What we need is a handheld bike.
Yeah, just on your face.
Wireless.
Yeah.
It's fine. Just get used to using it because your voice will thank you after like 3 weeks.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Take responsibility.
Right there.
Okay, right.
I want to make a note that the more energy you put into your floating leg, the more engaged it is, the easier it should be to balance. Because it's almost like it's helping you stand on a wall.
Try to extend your head. Your arms
Yeah, hi.
So can you tell me when I start to open my hip?
Mhm.
Okay. Until when it's okay because I'm a gymnast and we used to open.
Aha,
open.
so you're super open. Super flexy. So right, you're already starting to. So there you go. That's about where you are then without opening. So yeah, what you're working on most is stability and strength within your poses, right?
Yeah. But it feels so unnatural to close it.
Yeah, because you're like, oh.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, everyone can stay in their partners, but I just want you to take a look up here for one moment. I'll show you the hand positions that you can be in. I already see some of you trying them out. So the first one I had you start on your hips. The second one, you can have your hands in Namaste Mudra, Anjali Mudra. You can have airplane arms. Or the traditional warrior 3 is bringing your arms out in front, which requires a little more strength and stability. So choose your journey. Neither is better or worse. Yeah. You want to have a perfectly straight line. So engaging your core and making your standing leg super straight and strong will help. To help with balance, you keep your attention on the 4 corners of your feet, especially your big toe. Yeah. And when you're watching your partner, make sure their hips stay square to the floor. Notice if they're starting to open and try to keep them even. Yeah, that's great. The foot can be however you want. It can be pointed, or flexed down. Yeah, your hips are very straight there. Yeah.
Wow, the difference when I try to keep my hips square,
Square and open
it's like super difficult. That's
to keep it square.
yeah, like not. I have more balance.
Mhm.
Now I feel more balance.
Mhm.
Being it square makes me like
Oh, and that's where we need to build on the stability and the core, right? Mhm.
really like
Yeah, very nice. All right, start winding up time with your partner and coming back to your mats. We'll move on to the next pose. Mhm. I do want to point out a lot of people have been talking to me about opening your hips. The moment your hips starts to open, that means we're not in the pose anymore. So you want to work even if you're just going right here. You're just going to work right here because the more you open like this, the more you're going to be working on a different wrong pose. But if you want to keep working on Warrior 3, no matter like where you are, you keep your straight body and that might be it. And eventually you'll be able to start tipping yourself the more strength you build up in your core and your leg. Yeah.
And with airplane arms, do you want them like coming straight out in a T? They can make up like what's the best arm zip like?
What's going to help you balance better?
That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just make sure your shoulders stay rolling down your back. You don't want it hugging up if you have them up here. All right, come back to your mats. And I'll show you our next transition. We're going to go from Warrior 3 to Warrior 1. So Virabhadrasana 3. Can everybody say Virabhadrasana? Because there's about 4 poses with that name in it. All right, I'll demonstrate, so I'm going to put the mic down, try to talk really loudly. So for this sequence, we come from Warrior 3, and then we're going to step our foot back into Warrior 1. But for the purpose of demonstration, I'm just going to step my foot back from Tadasana. So if you notice in this Warrior 1, the Warrior 2 and Warrior 1 have different feet positions. I think in Warrior 2, well, I'll get there. Warrior 1, since your hips are going to be they're going to be closed, facing the front of your mat. You want to keep your feet a little, like maybe hips distance apart. We always say not on a tightrope. If you're on a tightrope, it's going to be so much harder to get your hips facing forward. So you want to make it easier on your body. Give yourself some more openness. Woo! That's not good. You want to give yourself some more openness within the hips so you can square your hips to the front. And if you notice, my back leg is super straight and strong. It's really engaged. You're having an internal rotation here, right? Your knee, here I'd say your knee is more locked because you're more supported on your front foot. You want to make sure, I'm going to call this your outer arch. Your outer arch is staying firmly on the mat. So once you start collapsing your inner arch, your outer arch starts to lift, and that's when you start bending in your knee. And you don't want that because that's when the knee problems happen. So you want to keep your outer arch firmly on the ground. It can either be the easiest one to do if you have a little more tight ankles and knees would be parallel to the back of your mat. Typically, it's about a 45-degree turn towards the front corner. So whatever works for you, you just want to make sure it's not facing back because then you're going to open your leg out and that's not the pose. So we're going to keep the back leg super straight, internal rotation, hips are square. Let's go on to the front leg. We have all four corners of the feet firmly planted down, paying special attention to our big toe because that's what would tend to lift. We're coming down to a 90-degree angle or less. Remember, we never want to go in front of our knee unless our hands are on the ground. Sometimes our knees start splaying in, and that's when the collapsing of the arch happens. So you want to just gently push it out, and if you find your knee collapsing inwards, you can draw attention to your outer butt cheek and just gently even it out. And something I like to do, I need to use my hands here. So this is the hand position for Warrior One. To help me get my hips square, and I like to teach this in my classes, I draw my arm down. So for here, my left leg is forward. I'll draw my right arm down and just reach it slightly. And you'll just see, if you're trying it out, it should help draw the right hip a little more forward. And then coming back up. You want to make sure your triceps are rolling in, your fingertips are lively and engaged, but your trapezius is still rolling down your back. Again, in all these poses, we don't want hunchbacks or hunch necks. And maybe look up. All right, you guys want to try it out now? Yeah.
Can I ask you about the alignment of the left and the right feet?
Yeah.
Because I saw it's like when I was studying it, I thought it's like we should test somehow our heel, let's say in the middle of the foot or at the heel, and now I saw you that you kind of opened it. So just to confirm.
Right. So typical. Yeah. So typical warriors will be heel to arch alignment, right? For Warrior One, we tend. Okay, so everyone maybe try to get into your Warrior One feet right now.
This is
And
important to make the
yeah.
difference between 1 and 2.
All right. How does it feel trying to get your hips forward with the heel to arch alignment? Heel to arch. Right. All right. Now step your foot, right foot out to the side, making it at least hips distance apart, and try to face your hips forward. Much easier. So since we're in Warrior One is a closed hips, it's a straightforward posture. We want to keep our feet about hips distance or a little wider, just not on a tight rope, so we can keep our so we can have our hips facing forward.
I just want to say something
Yeah.
about that.
Okay, anatomically, guys and ladies' hips are different. So guys, you can go ahead and keep your feet heel to the floor because you're not as sexy as we are. Ladies, you have wide hips, so you need to step a little wider. So that's why in like classical Hatha yoga alignment, you see warrior one, heel to heel. Because men were doing it and they have narrow hips. Women with wider hips need to step wider. The wider your hips are, the wider you need to step. Okay?
Thank you.
Is that when you the back foot, when you open it more to the side, it's easier to keep the hips square? I have the impression.
No,
No.
no, it's the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
It's just yeah, no, it's better to keep the typical is to keep it forward, and that'll help get your hips forward. But if you're having difficulties due to this stability or the stretch of your ankle, you can keep it parallel to the mat. You just might want to make sure it's not moving. The foot's not splaying outward, creating the outward external rotation of the leg.
when it's parallel to the back of the leg, how can I get my hips square?
Yeah, no, definitely for you, keep it facing forward. I'm just saying that's for people that are having trouble with the flexibility of their ankle and the flexibility of just getting it, because that's the flexibility of their calf as well. All right, find your partner and check each other out.
You describe names, and it's very, very small, and just
Yeah.
to describe what is where and like warrior.
Yeah.
How it's spelling.
Um,
And how it's spelling warrior because
Virabhadrasana. Okay,
warrior.
that is warrior.
Yeah, but
Oh, W.
it says warrior. So here is warrior 3 and
Yes,
warrior,
warrior 1. I just wrote the Sanskrit ones.
Yeah, because we don't know, as in I don't know,
Right.
I don't understand if it's the same or it's different.
Warrior 1, yeah. Only warrior 1 right now. We'll get to warrior 2 next. Because it's very different. It's very different.
Let it forward. You're like, oh, I am.
Yeah, that's perfectly square. Like you got, yeah. Okay, how's this? Here.
Make sure you get this down.
Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, your back knee. There you go.
Am I squared?
Yeah, but are you in what?
But here.
Yes, there you go. There you go. And then you can draw this down, pull forward. Yeah.
Okay, so what can you try again?
We're saying that feeling the difference between being straight.
Being-
Doing this makes my knee water.
Exactly. It collapses in, and yeah, that's why, especially ladies.
Yeah, and it felt so weird, and then I was like, oh, but slide it forward, and you see you go
really
Yeah.
and it like it.
I don't
The
think
other
there
one, I
was.
was pinching my this part would go. It was like pinching, like the glute muscle
Oh,
pinched up,
yeah.
and it's straight behind. I was like, oh.
You're engaged. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there was that distinction yesterday of like moving the foot out.
When she was, we were going through yeah.
We were going through. Wait, did we go through?
No, we didn't. We didn't go
Oh, I think it was
with
the lunge.
row
It was the
hill.
lunge.
And that is.
Lunge is going to be the same. You can
Yeah,
stay
so
on
you're gonna
on.
move a little bit out.
Yeah. So otherwise, it's your. Well, for one, think of yourself on a lunge on a type. Yeah, you're not even like.
Balance beam.
Yep. So
Versus
yeah, then you.
some like
Yep.
stability.
Hips. So, mhm. Do you have questions? You're very concerned about this. Did you understand what I was saying though? That people like you have no problem making this come forward, but there are other people who have a really tough time rotating their
What
ankle.
matters more is to really keep the hip close in
Mhm.
Warrior One.
Oh.
So what I usually teach is that when they don't manage to keep the heel on the floor, it's okay to keep the heel slightly back from the floor so that they like almost go into a lunge.
Yeah, I'll teach that as well. I actually just teach people to go in a lunge if they're having a problem.
Exactly, and then like from time to time try to get a little bit lower, because I feel like if I would tell them to bring the back foot square, they would think like, what is that? That's neither Warrior One or Warrior Two. Like now I cannot bring the hip forward and then bringing the arm up. I don't know. I just thought it's a bit weird.
No. That's a very good point. I just know to make it more, especially in like beginner classes and more accessible to people. I'm just like, it's fine. Don't worry about it, and try to keep the back heel down.
And I try to do that by telling them it's okay if we don't put the heel on the floor, then just go into that.
Yeah. That works too.
And for Warrior 3, I'm like always struggling myself with the position of the standing leg. Like I know I should not hyperextend, but still I want to engage the quad.
Yeah. So then your quad is going to be externally rotating slightly, while this one comes in.
So is that too much bend? Like how much should I bend?
I'd say bend until you have stability. I think bend is so much better than hyperextending. So even this would be an okay bend. Like if that helps give you stability and keep you out of your knee, great. This is also an okay bend. This is too much.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I'm very like into.
Can you go up again? Yeah. Boop. Yeah, your hip's coming up just slightly, so you want to hang out there. Keep your leg a little lower. Yeah.
And please don't take me personal if I ask
No.
too much. I just want to make sure I really perfectly understand.
No,
'cause
perfect.
I also,
That's a good
when
student.
I teach, I want to be
Just want to
able
add one more thing.
to say that, okay, I really know
Try
what I'm
this
saying.
if you want more extension in the spine, as we talked about yesterday. Squeeze your inner thighs together once you're in the Warrior One. Get in the Warrior One, squeeze your inner thighs together. See what happens to your ability to extend your spine. Okay? Just a little addition.
Yeah.
I have the feeling when I push my hip forward, my foot goes like this.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's very common. Okay. So you're saying this is twisting? You want to make sure this is super straight.
Okay.
and engaged.
It's actually that I try
Oh.
to push down here.
Mhm. Then you want to, what you probably want to do is ease up on the knee and not go as deep. If you're having, yep, there, that's straight right there. So if you can't go any further than that, it's way more important to keep this straight than this lower. And then work there, and then you'll slowly start getting lower as you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Ujjayi, I really, for me, it's the first time. I don't understand
Mhm.
how it is.
Ujjayi, okay. Have you ever fogged up glasses or fogged up a mirror?
Yes, but here,
Yeah, it comes from right here. Let's see. Can you constrict? You know how to constrict the back of your throat?
restrict what?
Like make the back of your throat, your esophagus tighter, smaller. Make the hole smaller. Or like the back of your throat comes and touches the front. Like, can you see the difference?
No, but this is the tongue.
You can't see. Can't keep my tongue down. So what you want to work on is just trying to feel the muscles in the back of your throat then. Like, can you block your esophagus completely? Closing it up.
No, but that is very difficult, you know.
Mhm. Then you'll work there, just starting to feel the muscles in your esophagus.
It's very common. I mean, they used to say, to tell it in the yoga class, Ujjayi. If you want Ujjayi, if you want Ujjayi. But I have never learned it.
Yeah, so no one ever told you constrict or make the ocean sound? Can you make the ocean sound?
Yes, but they have to make it inside.
Yeah, it's a different, and you'll just start. Yeah, maybe you're working there, just starting to really understand the muscles in your throat.
Yes. That's completely okay.
We'll be practicing it every day, so you'll have plenty of opportunities too.
Yeah, exactly. So this one is actually garlic. Hip flexor. As you open this more,
Yeah.
Virabhadrasana means warrior.
Yes.
Just Vira.
I abbreviated Vira down there, Vira Bhadrasana, but Vira 2 means Vira Bhadrasana
No,
too.
I know. Like
Yeah.
because the asana is the posture,
Yeah.
so warrior will be Vira.
Mhm. All right. Maybe someone takes a picture and adds it to the group.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be easy too. All right, how's everybody doing? Yeah, makes sense. All right. Take the next couple moments to come back to your mats.
That gives you energy. This one is an energetic.
The third one mean more.
Yes.
Felina has a question.
Yes. Yeah, hello.
What stretch can I tell my students if they want to bring more flexibility in the ankle?
The ankle. kind of sitting back on your heels a little bit, sitting back in Virasana.
But that's a different. This is like more.
One of the principal.
For example,
If they can do
like this and that is like quite okay, but then when it goes like
So,
then we need the side.
so take a look. Do you know that sitting on your heels actually would even help too, and then just playing with this, going back and forth, and then also sitting between your heels. Oh, I can't do it right now because of the floor. In Virasana. And even if they can't put their, like Pee Wee was showing yesterday, can't put their butt on the floor, put their butt on a block, and then this will stretch out here, and then they'll work on going backwards, and this will also help their knees.
So then also like frog pose, bow pose, even dancing warrior.
Yeah. Yeah. Any position that the feet is pointed. Yeah. Yeah.
This is
All right.
the battery of
You have a
God.
question? Okay, just listening. Yeah, cool. All right, let's get back to our mats, and we'll move on to Warrior 2. Within the sequence, there's a little vinyasa, an Ashtanga Namaskar in there, and down dog, up dog. But for the purposes of just practicing alignment, we're just going to go straight into Warrior 2. And sometimes we like to add a little vinyasa flow in between these sequences when we're just on one side, because it gets really, if you're in a class and you're just working on one muscle the entire time, that's going to get really hard for your students when you get to like the very end of your sequence. So it's really nice to add a little flow in between a sequence on each side. All right. Hello. No problem. You guys can continue. Or I'll take a picture and add it to the group. Yeah. And then you guys can copy it later.
Oh, what does the mean?
Sorry, vinyasa. I added this vinyasa here. Yeah. Okay.
How to get in from warrior 1 to warrior 2.
All right, so I'll show you how to do the vinyasa. We're starting from Warrior 1. And then you want to safely turn your foot forward. Bringing your hands down to the mat, stepping your front foot back, and coming into your downward facing dog. And from your down dog, you can Kumbhakasana, your plank pose. Do knees, chest, chin. Coming up, rolling over the feet, rolling your shoulders back into up dog. And then exhaling back into your downward facing dog. And then from here, you'll step your foot forward. Here's my left foot. And then since we're coming into Warrior 2, we're windmilling the arms up and back, coming into our warrior.
When you step the foot forward, put it in the middle of your hands, so that when you bring the back heel down, you're in heel to arch alignment. Warrior 2 is heel to arch. And then it's
Yeah. Okay. Actually, why don't we do a little flow so you guys can feel how that is? So we'll start in our Warrior 1. Make sure you're not on your tightrope, your hips are forward, and coming with your arms facing up. And then you'll either, depending on your ankle, why don't we all lift our ankle up, coming into a lunge, and then drawing our hands down to the mat, stepping our left foot or right foot back, and then pressing up into our downward facing dog. And then from here, we'll come into our plank pose, and then do knees, chest, chin. Elbows back to our side. Rolling up to up dog. And then tucking the toes, coming into your downward facing dog. And from here, we'll lift the right foot up. And then bring the knee through center, slowly passing your ribs and belly, and stepping it up exactly in the middle, in between your hands. And then you'll flip your back foot down, keeping that 45-degree angle towards the front top corner of your mat. And then you'll windmill your arms up. Into your warrior two. So here you want to make sure, I see a few of you need to move your foot just a little bit and come into heel to arch alignment. If you draw a line from your front heel to the middle of your back arch, it should be a straight line. And again, the same with the front foot. Your toes, four corners of your mat, four corners of your foot are on the mat. Your big toe is on the ground. And if you notice, does everyone feel the hip difference of the hip, where your hips are, open versus closed? So warrior one is completely this way. Warrior two is open, and that's why we can actually have, ladies, the heel to arch alignment and keep our open hips. Remember, our back leg is super straight and strong. You don't want to collapse your knee. You're rotating it's externally rotating out. Sorry, you're rotating in. And then the front leg is pulling from the buttocks. You can pull back to help with your tilt. If you have the anterior tilt, you can bring your frontal hip points up, bringing your tailbone down towards the floor. And then coming up to the torso, you want your arms in shoulder height. If you tend to lean forward just a little bit, pull back on your back arm. You want to feel elongated through the ribs. Trapezius down your back of the neck, long. All right. Fantastic. You want to break out in pairs and do it on the other side now. Evening out the legs. Do I have any questions before breaking out? Yes? Sorry, yeah, I misspoke on that one. So this one's rotating out. The front one's rotating out. This one's rotating slightly in. Is that correct, Pee-wee? The rotations of the back leg. It's out. It was right. What? Yeah.
That's why we should do it. It's complicated.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not explaining it the way I should.
Borrow the mic.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yes.
The thingy. Okay. This is controversial. And that's why I took the mic. Remember what we were talking about yesterday about how we want to make sure the front knee is safe in the warrior two. Remember that? And how ideally you're opening your hip to the side and getting a nice hip opener going. But that's limited by the structure of your pelvis and the flexibility of your groin. If you push past the limit of your flexibility, the knee starts to roll in. And we want to prevent that because that's not going to help you get more flexible. That's just going to twist your knee. Whereas you want the back leg to roll out until you get to the limit of your flexibility. Once you're there, it actually comes in a little bit so that this knee can continue to point down the center line of your foot. Got it? When will this hip actually roll out completely? In most people, never. Because we cannot do this. So unless you can do this and be completely flat on the floor and have someone stand on you, your back leg eventually will need to roll in a little to protect your front knee. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so you keep working on that until you get down to the ground. Some people will never get down to the ground due to the shape of their pelvis. If your hip sockets are oriented forward, you will never be able to turn the thigh completely to the side. So sometimes it's a bone structure thing. Okay, and that's why most people's back legs are internally rotated just a little bit. So you open as much as you can, then you roll in. Make sense? Okay, you can take back your mic. It's a complicated story.
It was.
Back foot is 90 degrees for the warrior 2.
No, it's not okay. Auf dem Sand wahrscheinlich wieder stecken.
Hier bleibt die außen. Kutschekopfbänder.
Make sure you check that interior or posterior tilt. Hmm? Yeah. Yeah, plank. Yeah. Draw your knee towards your belly, coming up through your chest. So, oh, that's where you're going. Okay, yeah, knee, chest, chin. Stick your butt out, come forward. And then come into your down dog. And then you'll step your foot up between your hands, coming into the middle. So we can spin our back foot down, coming into heel out to arch alignment, and then windmill the arms up. You'll start getting used to it. We're going to be doing it a lot.
We start from the second, no? We start from the first. We start from the...
We went from 1 through the flow into the warrior 2.
I don't understand what. So we made first, second, third, fourth. Then
I'll fix it when before I take a picture of it. So I put V means vinyasa.
you changed.
And for the
I think someone else.
it was heel to the middle of your
Heel
arch,
to the very
not
middle.
heel to heel.
Right, heel to middle of arch.
Okay.
So it's 5 now is correct. It's vinyasa.
It's a vinyasa, yeah.
And what is exactly vinyasa?
So vinyasa is that,
Changing position.
so downward dog into the plank, Ashtanga Namaskar.
Why we do this? To change position?
Yeah, to just kind of wash out any poses that's happening, to give our body a little more blood flow, let the
And we change leg
stress
or
out.
not?
And then we're still on the same leg.
No, so like for example, 4. Yeah, 4 it's warrior 1.
Yep.
Correct? We were standing. We were standing as if. Yes, and then we after this we go down and plank, blah blah. This warrior.
And then we'll stay on the same leg. And once we
Not
finish,
warrior, vinyasa flow.
yeah, and we'll stay on the same leg, and then we'll go through the rest of the
Same
sequence.
leg, you mean 6? Yeah, we come back.
Yep,
again
come
the
back
same
on the
leg.
same leg.
So we work, for example, with right leg, and we come back with right leg. Yes.
Yeah, same.
This mirror too. It's you mean warrior too? Yeah.
Yep.
What is it?
Hmm.
What is it?
Right. R.
And same on, you mean we
Same
change
on left, and
position?
then yeah, then go through the whole thing on the left side.
Here is again vinyasa on 12.
Yep.
And we change position here with leg or no?
And then after Malasana, we'll go to Tadasana and do the rest.
What is it?
You'll start understanding. Viparita, Virabhadra. I shortened the Virabhadra.
No, just how to read.
Yeah.
Vera too.
Yeah, Virabhadrasana. Yeah. Let me fix that for y'all.
Mahadrasana. Oh my God.
You won't have to know. That's why I shortened it.
Yeah. Okay. Vera Bahajasana 1. Is that warrior? That's warrior 1?
Yeah.
Bahajasana 1. Vinyasa.
Okay.
How do you pronounce this one?
Viparita
Virabhadrasana.
means reverse. So we'll go into reverse warrior.
Warrior 2. Okay, so 4 is warrior 1, right? Warrior 1.
Mm-hmm.
Vinyasa flow can be different or the same?
Yeah, it's pretty much a sun salutation that you put in between the.
But it's every time same or we can change something? We will learn Vinyasa flow.
She taught you the Vinyasa flow yesterday, Surya Namaskar A. And sometimes there's Surya Namaskar B where you add a warrior 1, but we'll just call it we'll call it A.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Vinyasa flow is like Surya Namaskar 8.
Yeah. I was writing that out, and then I was like, I'm not going to have enough room for all my stick men if I write out all the vinyasas.
So this one is
Warrior 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like I could write it all in the Sanskrit, and you'll figure it out as we go in the English.
Sorry, what? Warrior 2. No, warrior 1, 45 to 60.
Virabhadrasana.
Oh my God. Vera.
It's really hard to write down there. That's also why I wrote Vira. Okay.
8. Viparita. Never even heard that spoken before. Okay.
It's not a widely spoken thing. I think people usually say reverse warrior.
Right.
And then there's Viparita Karani, where that's legs up the wall, but you don't do that in classes that much.
So
It's
mostly, of course, people knows warrior.
Yeah.
Or we just, for example.
So yeah. No, I don't know if you need to know the Sanskrit. I'm not sure yet.
So the Parivrita is a twist.
Paravita is twist. Yes. Viparita is reverse.
7.
All right, how's everybody doing?
Wow, we're learning a lot of poses today.
Yep. I'm looking at the time like, okay, I probably should get going. All right, if everyone can come back to your mats, I'm going to teach you 2. They're more of transition poses for this sequence.
What's mean same on L?
Same on the left side. So we go through it.
I just reacted because I saw something falling like that.
Really quick, what is V?
Vinyasa. Oh.
What Malasa means, sorry?
Malasana is this squat. Yogi squat. Yogi squat. Yeah, that's the only.
Translation in.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. To have everybody on their mats, I'm going to go through 2 little transition poses to get you into your Trikonasana triangle pose. So we have our heel to arch alignment. We're in our warrior 2. We're going to quickly come into reverse warrior, Viparita Virabhadrasana. So from here, arms wide. We'll inhale. You can either place your hand on the back of your thigh or on your hip. Just make sure never on the knee. You can imagine that if you start putting pressure on the knee, that's going to wear over time. So we'll just inhale back here, keeping the same leg structure, just getting more length and space in your side body, maybe looking up. And then preparing for your triangle, your Trikonasana, straightening the front leg. And I'm going to focus on this front leg here for a moment. We're going to keep our big toes planted. And then you want to make sure, this is a really important pose, to make sure you're not hyperextending. You want to really keep that slight bend in your front knee. And then you're going to externally rotate the quadricep out. Keeping your glute in. So from reverse triangle, we're going to come back to our arms straight. And then you want to make sure that your hips aren't rotating in. You're not kind of doing a cha-cha with your hips. You want to make sure they're stable and stay open. And then dip down to the side. And you can use your block or keep your hand on your shin. Just again, if you have your hand on your shin, making sure not to apply too much pressure. But you can use your block to help bring the floor to you. You want to make sure you're just not collapsing your chest to get your hand on the ground, because that defeats the point. Then you're closing your chest, you're closing your lungs. You want to make sure everything stays open. Your spine is long, tailbone facing towards the ground. Frontal hip points are still up. Your core is engaged. Trapezius is down the back. You can have your hand on the block. And you want to make sure your shoulders aren't crunched in. So roll your shoulder back and down here, and the same on this side. Again, you want to make sure everything is engaged in your back leg, your kneecap too. And you keep your heel to arch alignment. I typically have learned behind. Or it could also be on your big toe.
For this one that we're doing, because from warrior to alignment, this is called Utthita Trikonasana. It's a super wide triangle. And when your triangle is super wide, you can either have your hand in front, but ideally behind to open your chest. Because sometimes if you put your hand in front, it kind of collapses. You put your hand behind, it forces you to open. The triangle that you're going to do next week in
Ashtanga.
Is narrower. And for that one, we're grabbing deeper. We really don't recommend you putting your hand in front simply because it collapses. Okay? You will do it though. It's not wrong. I still recommend it.
Yeah, it's helpful. We always, in every pose, we're trying to find the most length, the most expansion, broadening all our muscles and bones and chest. So if we're collapsing, that's missing the whole point of the yoga. So back here, and if your arm is up, you can keep your gaze up if your neck's okay, or gaze forward. And then if you have your expansion, you can lean ever so slightly back. And this is where your partner might help you. You can help your partner. Pee-wee! Okay, so come into your triangle. Yeah. So see, her hips are kind of rotating forward. They're not open. We're going to Slightly draw her shoulder back, pushing onto her buttocks, reaching her hand towards the sky. Kind of like she's almost against a wall. Does that feel all right, Huey?
Yeah. So
Okay.
you need to be the wall for
Be
your
the
partner.
wall.
But don't push them.
Yeah.
Make them lean onto you, but don't push them forward.
Just give them stability to find that extension and expansion. Thank you. All right. Any questions before I send you off?
Hyperextension of the front knee.
I went over that, right? I talked about a little bit, but for the front knee, again, this is hyperextension. This is when the knee's coming back a little, ever so slightly. I don't know if you can see it that well on my knee a little bit. So we want to keep, here we go.
I can do it. I have hyperextended joints. So.
Okay. So, see that? This
There's
guy's jelly.
And a curve.
See that? Jelly. Kneecap is unstable. In fact, I can move my kneecap. Nothing's working. I'm hanging off my joint. I'm hanging off the ligaments of my knee. It's gonna hurt me one day. So I want to micro bend and squeeze this guy. Now I'm stable.
She's
Not
keeping
one.
all four corners of the feet really planted down. Will help draw tension here. Will help rotate this here and keep this engaged.
Check the quadricep of your friend and make sure it's not jelly.
All right, go for it. So if you want, you can try the transition poses as well from Warrior 2, Reverse Warrior, Reverse Trikonasana. While you're in Reverse Trikonasana, that's where you can really start paying attention to your front knee and really set it up. And then come forward, set up your arms. Make sure you're not cha-chaing your hips down. And to help with the cha-cha, you just reach. All you do is reach with your front hand, and if you can't reach anymore, that's when you dip your chest. And then use a block to bring the floor to you. Hello.
I don't understand what's about this pose.
So that's reverse warrior, reverse triangle,
Why
triangle.
we-
It's a transition. That's why I didn't spend too much time on it. It's just helping you. It's helping you flow easily. Yeah, so you're in Warrior 2 here. And you just kind of breathe in, reverse warrior. Exhale, reverse triangle. And when you're in reverse triangle is when you can start setting up your leg. So you'll make sure the big toe is firmly planted. Make sure you have a micro bend. And then you're rotating your quadricep out ever so slightly. And then you can work on getting into triangle.
So it's like transition.
Yeah, they're real poses for this sequence, though it's more of transition into Trikonasana.
Okay, so what you do is you sit your thigh against it so that you're the one.
I felt so good.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting more comfortable up or forward? Yeah, I think the one thing that I learned is like even if you can get like even more rotation, okay. If it starts to go in, then it's more important. If the front knee's going in, then it's
So can you straighten it at all anymore? And yeah, that's about as micro bended as you need. And then you keep this thing very engaged. And then you'll just come behind her, place your thigh on her butt cheek, and help move it forward, keeping her
And how do you know,
straight.
like, when she's like, there's a point at which she's like fully can do as much as she can, right?
I think that's, you'll just kind of gauge and
Feel
see
like
where
that
she
is-
is.
But keeping that like even more straight, I think.
Yeah, you can straighten that a lot more. Yep.
And I think
Even that's not hyperextended.
yeah,
And you want to try to make your core engaged. Yep.
yeah. That arms look good.
You can release now, you probably. We're just examining. I'm like, oh, that's a person in the pose.
This one is different than normal triangles. Normal triangle, we are closer together.
Oh, But for the dancing warrior, since we're coming from warrior two, keep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I do the Trikonasana, my ankle, like, I always feel like a lot of pressure here when I'm coming down. Like,
Do you see already you're splaying your foot out? You want to keep all four corners down. So that's both corners of your ankle here and both of the up top. Did you feel that difference?
yeah.
Engaging the thigh and
But
pushing
it's
against
hard
the ground.
to like straighten my knee and not have my yeah, I guess that.
I love using blocks.
Yeah, that feels pretty good.
There you go. And then it'll work. You work. Yes.
Can I borrow the mic?
Yeah. Oh.
My dear, can you come? I just need to. Okay, can I have your attention? Just for a little while. Every now and then, you're going to get someone in your class with hypermobile knees. And can you stand here, please? What's your name again?
Teresa.
Teresa has hypermobile knees. We talked about this before. See how her leg bone goes back a lot. So when she does the triangle, we want to make sure she doesn't hyperextend her knee. So if you can go into the triangle for me. And she's having a very difficult time keeping her knee from hyperextending. Okay, so what I did for her was I tipped the block on its side and rested it against her thigh. Now you can press onto the block and go into your triangle. So when she goes into her triangle, she has a little bit of support. So she's not hyperextending her knee because she's really having a difficult time being comfortable without hyperextending, because we need to train her muscles of the body to work, because before they weren't. Now I'm going to have her squeeze her thigh. There, now come down. It's going to be a little bit of a struggle for her, but this will support her while she trains her muscles to work. Okay, so just take note of this. Thank you so much. Okay.
All right, I'll just a couple more minutes and then we'll move on to the next.
We have 15 minutes. So
Okay.
Like since we are opening, like is it
Point
wrong
toe forward.
like doing this? Like is it wrong to go more?
No, 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 not at all. It's getting more extension. As long as you can keep your core engaged and you're not bending your back, you get that stretch through the side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna move on to Utthita Parsva Konasana, extended side angle. I'll send this all in the chat. All right, so right now we're in Trikonasana. And you come into Utthita Parsva Konasana, it's extended side angle. You can either, we're gonna put a bend, you're gonna fully bend now the front knee, coming into a 90-degree angle or less. And it's gonna be the same as warrior two legs. But the top, you can either keep this arm in your groin area, your thigh, or coming to a block, or all the way onto the floor. Expanding and opening the chest still is the same as in Trikonasana. And then if you feel comfortable here, you can rotate your tricep forward, bringing your pinky towards the ground, and then put the hand overhead. And then you'll feel a whole stretch from your groin up through the side, all the way through your shoulders and hands. And then if you're here, you can rotate and find expansion through the chest, opening up. I'm getting a lot of confused faces. Did that make sense? You have the same warrior two legs, so I'm not going to go over that one. But the transition from Trikonasana, you could put a slight bend or big bend, making sure you're rotating outwards, drawing your glute back and down, knee over ankle. And then pick where you want. You can either put your hand on a block, the floor, or on your thigh. Making sure you keep the glute rolling under will help pushing your knee outwards. Back leg straight and strong. And then I'll let you guys give that a try for 5 minutes, and then we'll move on to the twist. They each Utthita Parsvakonasana. Yeah. Hand can either be the hand if you're putting your hand on the floor on the inside or the outside of your foot. If you tend to splay your knee inwards, I like to put my hand on the inside so my arm can help push the knee out, engaging, helping remind my glute to go back. Yes, yes.
In the same position, that one that you, from here, instead of just putting arms like this, this, you bring them here.
Yeah.
Same one, but you open even more.
It's if you're open. I'm not teaching that one because I don't know about the open shoulder. I'll touch on that as well. Yeah.
It's just a matter of arms. Yes.
But what a lot of people do if they try to bind, they're like this, which defeats the purpose because then you have a closed chest. And then you can really open, and this will help actually bring your glute under.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have to open the hips?
The hips are open like in Warrior 2. So same Warrior 2 legs.
So here it needs to push a little bit backwards, right?
No, those are still open. Yeah. I guess it's not quite the same as Trikonasana because we're lunging forward.
I feel I'm closing.
You feel your close. So yeah, so maybe I'd put your hand in the on the inside so let's come up and we'll put your hand just on a block. Looks open. Right now it's my right palm around. The transition is really important and what we should be mindful of, making sure we slowly and mindfully turn our hips to face the front of the mat and dropping our knee down to help engage. Again, it depends on your flexibility. Eventually, you'd be working on towards going the outside of the foot. Yep. So from here? Okay. And then you can...
Okay, how did you transition? How did you transition? Show me.
Hands down.
Okay. And then, okay. We need to emphasize the fact that it's not really a good idea to keep the hips here and rotate.
So
Emphasize it because I didn't tell them about the sacroiliac joint. I should have. But there's a joint in our hip called the sacroiliac joint that we will talk about during the spine talk that we want to make sure is safe. So we never go with an open hip and twist the other way.
Without turning our foot. And just one more quick thing about the transition. I've already said it a couple of times, but we just want to emphasize that it's really important to go slowly and mindfully in this transition because there's a muscle here, the sacroiliac joint, that Pee Wee's going to talk about a little later today. And if you go really quickly from an open hip posture to a closed, you see my knees kind of collapsing. I already feel it in my hip. Feeling a big strain. So you really want to make sure you go slowly and lift the foot, squaring the hips, really mindfully with care.
Stand, yeah. Uchi.
Utthita. That's the twist.
Wait, you're right. 10 and 10. No, in part.
10, 11, 10. So we're coming into our twist, Pavarita Parsvakonasana.
No, 10, 10.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
11's the twist.
10. So is this is correct? It's still open and like head.
It depends on how your neck feels. You can either look forward. If your neck feels okay, you can look up under your armpit.
Okay, so the full posture is this one in?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
hard.
Yes, very hard. I don't really like keeping my back foot down because I feel it twists and torques my knee a bit.
Right?
Yeah. So that feels a little better. Blocks really help too with the open and expansiveness of the chest. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so that's Utthita Parsvakonasana. And let's do the transition. Mm-hmm. Mindfully, yep. Great. Yeah. And then you can lift the knee if you want. Yep, you're in the full expression. You look strong too. All right, I'm going to teach you one more pose and then we're going to flow through the entire thing and then wrap up. If you guys can remember. And then breakfast. All right, the next one, Pee Wee kind of demonstrated it yesterday or the day before when we were talking about the ankle bones. And it's Malasana, it's the yogi squat. So if you see, when I get into a yogi squat, we keep our feet a little bit pointed outwards and then coming all the way down. I tend to lift my heels a little bit. Otherwise, if I'm right here, I need to sit on the block just because of the way my ankle bones are hitting each other when I come down. But in Malasana, you want to make sure that your knees are over your ankles. Again, this is the twist of the knee that we don't want, and you're going to start feeling a strain there if you continue to use it like that. So we're going to keep the knee directly above the ankle. You can practice sitting on a block. I think a lot of you can get into this pose already with keeping your heels down, but you want to make sure your arches are not collapsing inwards. And if you do find that your ankles or your heels come off the ground, you can roll up your mat or use a cushion. Where's my cushion? It's not wide enough, but a cushion to use the, yep. And then if you're in the yogi squat, you can press outwards with your elbows. And just find your zen. Yep. Yeah, again, every pose, we never want our chest collapse. So try to expand outwards, helping with the elbows.
What is the ideal pose of this?
The ideal?
Yeah. What you're aiming for? What sort of pose?
You want to, it's opening the hips.
So like a frog, but you're going deep in.
I don't know if I would completely say it. Online, because yeah, if you could see, this isn't my favorite pose because it's really hard for me to do because of my ankles. Otherwise, this is more of what I look like of doing it. No. It doesn't. It's when you get into the full expression, it's going to be less than 90 degrees.
So what do I look for when I adjust people here now? I go straight back.
Straight back, open chest.
Open chest.
Making sure the knees are tracking over, like, I wouldn't say tracking over is the wrong term, but the ankle is above the knee, so it's not going in or out.
How close are your feet?
It depends on your flexibility. Yeah.
Like this, am I okay?
Yeah, you're in it.
So is it like in Baddha Konasana closer or far open like Utkatasana?
I'd say it just depends on the body type, really. Again, this is due to my ankles. So your feet are splaying out too much. You want to keep it kind of 45. Yeah.
Like this. But like that more? Like that?
No.
Which one?
What you're asking. More in the between. Yeah.
And their hips? What are their hips?
Yeah. All right, are you guys ready to flow through this once and then we'll get going to breakfast? All right. Like that. Yeah. All right, so everyone come standing to the tops of your mats. Feel into your body, feel into your Tadasana. Maybe close your eyes for a moment. Soak in all the information. We learned a lot of poses today. Maybe bring a smile to your face, excitement for all that you've learned. Maybe excitement we're about to go eat. And we'll raise our hands, the arms coming up. Exhaling down to the floor. Stepping the right foot back. Stepping the left foot back. Pose. And then we'll come down, knees, chest, chin, sticking the butt out, elbows towards side, chest coming forward. Rolling your shoulders back into up dog, lifting the knees. And exhaling into downward facing dog. From here, we'll step the right foot up. And the left foot up. And inhale all the way up to the sky. Then we'll go on to the left side. Arms down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, find your way towards the floor. Stepping the left foot back. Stepping the right foot back. Knees, chest, chin. Rolling the shoulders back, coming into your up dog. And exhaling into your downward facing dog. From here, we'll just step the left foot up, right foot up. Inhale, arms come all the way up to the sky. And exhale into your Tadasana. From Tadasana, we'll have our hands on our hips. Start with our balancing, basic balance, so just lifting the left leg up, hip height, and then gently bringing the foot behind you, bringing your chest forward and coming into your warrior three. Arm position and wherever you feel comfortable. Make sure your toes are of the floating leg pointing down towards the earth. And once they're down, you can choose whatever flexion you like. Your core is engaged. Your spine is long. And then we'll step that left foot back and coming into our warrior one. Make sure you're not on a tightrope with your legs. Your hips are facing forward. Maybe draw your left hand in front of you, reaching forward, helping pull the hip up in front. Maybe looking up. And then exhaling, coming down to our mat, stepping our right foot back, coming into a downward facing dog. Plank pose. Ashtanga Namaskar, knees, chest, chin. Rolling our shoulders back, up dog, knees lifted. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Stepping the left foot back up. Wait, which one? Right foot up. Stepping your right foot up and then coming into your warrior two. Now here we want to make sure we have the heel to arch alignment. Arms are shoulder height. If you're reaching forward at all, just gently pull back on the left hand. Then we'll come into reverse warrior. And then straighten the front leg, reverse Trikonasana. Making sure we have that micro bend in our front leg, externally rotating the quadricep. Big toes firmly planted in the ground. And then exhale, coming through center, reaching your hand forward, and then dipping your torso. Head can either look straight or up above. Your fingers are full of life. Your legs are straight and strong. You're feeling that expansion through your chest. Shoulders are rolling down your back. And then from here, we'll place a bend in our front leg. Either keeping your hand on the floor or on top of your knee, wherever you like. Utthita Parshvottanasana. And then slowly and mindfully transitioning, hand comes down to the mat, spin the back foot up, place the knee on the floor just to help with your hip alignment. And then your left hand comes down to the mat, reaching the right arm up to the sky. And then if you feel so inclined, you can bring your back foot knee up, straightening the back leg. And then also, if you want, you can place the foot slanted on the floor. Either one's fine. And then we'll exhale our hands down. Our right foot comes back to meet our left. And we're coming into our plank pose. Ashtanga Namaskar. Knees, chest, chin. Rolling our shoulders back, knees up, up dog. And exhaling into our downward facing dog. And walking our right foot up to meet our hands. Our left foot up to meet our hands. Feet come kind of behind you where your hands are. And then we'll come into our yogi squat. Just for a moment. Spine elongated, chest expanded, crown reaching up towards the sky. And then placing your hands on the ground, coming into Uttanasana. And then inhaling, arms come up. Exhaling into your Tadasana. And then we got to do the other side. Real quick. Because we always got to keep it even. All right. So let's see, which leg are we on? Okay, right leg up. Bending forward. To your warrior 3. And then back down into your warrior 1. Mindfully step. Exhaling, palms come down, stepping your foot back. Knees, chest, chin. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Stepping your left foot up. Spinning your foot down and heel to arch alignment, warrior 2. Coming into reverse warrior. And then straightening your front leg, reverse triangle, making sure we have that micro bend. And then exhaling, bringing our hands up shoulder height, reaching forward and then down. Here for a few breaths. And then bending the front leg. Coming into Utthita Vajra Konasana, extended side angle. Bringing our top arm down, spinning our back heel up. Placing the knee onto the mat. Right arm comes down, left arm comes up. Straightening the back leg, if you'd like. Exhaling the top arm down. Stepping your foot back into plank pose. Ashtanga Namaskar, knees, chest, chin. Shoulders back, coming into up dog. And then downward facing dog. From here, we'll step your left foot up behind your hand, and then your right, coming into your yogi squat. And then from here, slowly and mindfully sit your tush on the ground, your butt bones on the ground, lying back into a mini Shavasana. Relaxing into all the hard work that you've done this morning. Noticing how your body feels on the ground, how it feels in comparison to the beginning of practice, maybe to the beginning of pranayama. Feeling all that blood circulating through your body, the prana, the breath. And just all that energy you just created got moving. Maybe placing a little smile on your face. Saying a little thank you for being here. Thank you to yourself, I should say. For showing up and doing the hard work. These are long days and you guys are doing it. Gently wiggling your fingers and toes, finding your way to this fetal position, and eventually up into a seat. There's a lot of poses today. You guys were engaged and working really hard the entire time, asking great questions, so thank you. We'll just place our hands in Namaste. And we'll close with one Om. Inhaling here. Exhaling completely. And inhaling for Om. And namaste. Enjoy breakfast.